So, of all the dwindling things it seems that we can be thankful for this year, well, Michael Wolff's work, that tops the list for me. And in today's breaking story, he levels Donald Trump just in time for tax season. Happy New Year, everyone. And welcome to Occupy Democrats. On a personal note, thank you, loyal viewers, for checking in each and every day, and especially for your kind words about Jagger, wherever he is, my four-legged associate producer. For those reasons and many more in the new year, please hit that subscribe button if you'll be kissing someone age appropriate at midnight tonight. Okay, and our stunner of a story to end out the year, Michael Wolff brings the receipts on Trump's taxes and reveals why we have never and may never see them. Now, if you're not familiar with author Michael Wolff, he is a huge thorn in the side of the Trumps. Why, just last week, he made First Lady Lee Van Cleef run for cover.
It would appear Melania Trump is hiding from me. I am suing her because she threatened to sue me for $1 billion because I talked about her relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, which is the last thing she wants to have talked about. The original threat letter from her lawyer said, please direct all your communications to Melania Trump through me. We went to his office to serve him, and he said, I'm not accepting service. And that's interesting. Therefore, we took the next logical step, which is to serve her at Trump Tower. So we got the server company. We said, we need you to serve papers on someone at Trump Tower. And they were like, okay, yeah, no problem. After they accepted this, began as midway in this, we got a call and they were saying, hey, you're trying to serve the First Lady. We're not doing that. So then we got another service company. They went to Trump Tower. The guys at Trump Tower said, we're just going to throw that in the garbage. We're not taking that. To the question of whether or not Melania Trump resides here, they said yes. So we now have specific testimony that Melania Trump lives at Trump Tower. She does not live in the White House.
Okay, that was great, but it's today's latest revelation from his Daily Beast podcast that has his co-host, Joanna Coles, me, and I'm going to bet you, just shocked by the financial shell game Trump and his close friend, Jeffrey Epstein, played that would directly impact his never-released taxes. And by the way, he's the only president to refuse to do so. And we're going to run that revelation just a second. But honestly, there is so much Wolff has on Trump and Epstein and their predatory bromance. Check this out.
At Mar-a-Lago, they have a beauty contest for what they're calling calendar girls. And they recruit all of these girls to come down to Mar-a-Lago for this beauty pageant. And when the girls get there, they find that there are only that it's an audience that consists of two, and it's only Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein.
Donnie and Jeffy.
And this would be at Mar-a-Lago in 1992. But again, it's always the girls, the beauty pageant girls, the models is a foundation of this.
Beauty contest for two. Now, one owns the Miss Teen USA pageant, and the other owns the reputation for being one of the worst systematic abusers and traffickers of young girls in history. If you're MAGA demented, well, that's just a coincidence.
To say no to President Trump would be saying no to God.
Okay, here's our featured clip of the day, an examination of the intricacies of two buddies from Brooklyn who desperately wanted to be blue-chip businessmen, players, but inevitably are bound to become famous grifters, liars, tax cheats, and so much worse. Okay, let's go to the latest episode of Inside Trump's Head as Michael Wolff audits the Trump-Epstein connection.
Tracking that, this is the moment when Trump's business empire goes into extremis. So Trump's bankruptcies, Trump has to manage and navigate several major bankruptcies at this time. But it wasn't only that. There was a whole set of bankruptcies. The Atlantic City bankruptcies, the problems with New York real estate, and the fact that suddenly he owed the banks $1 billion.
Wow.
Now, this is where Epstein gets kind of deeply involved with Trump's businesses, which is that, what am I going to do? Trump is like, what am I going to do? And it was then Epstein's suggestion, one of the key things. So he managed basically, I mean, his situation was so extreme that effectively the banks had to agree to take a bath on this. That they said we are going to forgive you these debts. Now, how that came about is another story, which I think is completely unclear. But they forgave him these debts up to about $1 billion. And so the problem there, though, is when the banks forgive you your debts, that becomes income. You have to pay taxes on it, in theory. And obviously, or would seem apparent that if you can't pay, if you don't have $1 billion to return to the banks, you probably don't have the $500 million that taxes on that money is going to cost. And it was, again, Epstein chortling his claim that he was the one who told Trump that actually none of this, because of the nature of this, you really haven't gotten the money. It never has come in as income and exists, and forgiveness sort of exists in a different order of ether unknown to the IRS, that you just don't have to pay it, which Epstein would then come to later maintain was one of the key reasons that we've never, to this date, have never seen Donald Trump's tax returns.
How is it possible that we haven't seen his tax returns?
How is it possible? How is all of this possible? How is any of this possible?
Well, here's how that's possible. Trump's father financed his foul business career, and that investment in the dumb son lands us right where we are today. So many things had to happen for us to tail out the year so much worse than we were 12 months ago. But right now, our commitment and our hope, our gumption for the fight, our collective resistance, that will determine where we are 12 months from right now. Happy New Year to you from me and Jagger. Let's close on this. It's a prayer for peace for the guy Trump hates the most.
I speak of peace, therefore, as the necessary, rational end of rational men. I realize the pursuit of peace is not as dramatic as the pursuit of war, and frequently the words of the pursuers fall on deaf ears. But we have no more urgent task